The barrage of bullets sending 2 people to the hospital, and it lands a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox with the exclusive.
Pooh Shiesty just got raided, and it didn't take long for everything to fall apart. After only 3 months out, fresh off his first day out celebration, this Memphis rapper started moving reckless in ways that practically guaranteed his freedom wouldn't last. What was supposed to be a second chance turned into a speed run back into trouble. And now, his release terms got violated, and the consequences came crashing down fast. People online keep saying the feds played dirty, especially after he dissed them on his first day out song, which now has over 25 million views. But let's be honest, this downfall wasn't some surprise setup. The truth behind what brought him down is way more predictable than fans want to admit. We're talking about repeated bad decisions, loud behavior, and zero respect for how serious federal supervision really is. Let's rewind for a second. Pooh Shiesty was supposed to be living his second chance when federal agents ran up in his spot and said enough was enough. But don't get it twisted. This didn't come out of nowhere. From day one, he was moving like freedom was optional. He was acting like the rules didn't apply to him, and that's where things started getting spicy. For those who haven't been paying attention, Pooh Shiesty came home after serving just under 5 years of what was originally supposed to be an 8-year sentence. And it gets crazier. The feds initially wanted 20 years, but his legal team worked magic and got it reduced. Coming home early like that is a blessing, but it also comes with tight strings attached. Federal supervised release isn't regular parole. It's walking on thin ice every single day. Curfews, check-ins, restrictions, and zero room for mistakes. When he first came home, he was supposed to be locked in and low-key. But instead, he moved like the feds weren't watching at all. Remember when he was on Ben the Don's live stream and his parole officer called him asking where he was? That moment said everything. He was supposed to be home for curfew, but he was outside, late, and even worse, he lied to his PO while still on camera. Ben had to mute the mic because he knew that was dangerous territory. That wasn't confidence, that was straight up reckless. And that wasn't a one-time slip-up either. Pooh Shiesty kept moving like he was untouchable.
Hello?
Yeah,
Little Trey Williams, yeah, I'm at the house.
Yeah, keep it.
All right. Just go, kid. Go make it right.
No.
You said what? Yes, I am. Yes, I am, man. Check it good. That's where I live at. That's where I live at. Refresh it. That's where I live at. Look, I ain't lying to you. I ain't playing no game.
You can mute the joint right now, Trey.
I don't want to play like that.
Posting jewelry, explained cars, and talking street business online like he wasn't still a federal inmate on supervised release. But here's where it goes deeper than missed curfews, and he started telling on himself through the music. In his lyrics, he said, "Out on paper with a fully ARP sitting on my counter now. In the streets, people believe he doesn't rap fiction." And for anyone who doesn't know, an ARP is a serious weapon, something a federal parolee absolutely cannot be around. As part of his release conditions, Pooh Shiesty wasn't even fully free yet. He was staying in a halfway house, and that detail matters a lot. For anyone who doesn't know how this works, when federal inmates come home early, they don't just grab their bags and go live however they want. They're placed in a transitional facility where every move is monitored. You sleep there every night, follow strict rules, and slowly earn privileges over time. The whole point of a halfway house is structure. You've got curfews, real curfews. You can't just pop out whenever you feel like it. You need permission to travel, permission to work certain jobs, and approval for almost everything you do. You're also not allowed to be around other felons or known gang members. It's designed to ease you back into society while keeping the feds watching closely. And here's the thing, federal supervision is different. State parole might let a few things slide, but the feds don't play at all. Federal parole officers can search your place at any time, drug test you randomly, and track your movements without warning. One small violation is all it takes to send you right back to finish your sentence. No excuses, no second chances. For someone like Pooh Shiesty, who's been publicly tied to Chopper Gang, the rules were supposed to be even tighter. The feds don't just monitor individuals, they monitor networks. When you're seen as a leader, they're watching who you talk to, where you go, and who's around you at all times. Every association matters, every appearance matters. And this situation didn't come out of nowhere. This wasn't his first run-in with the law. If you look at his history, there's a clear pattern. He never really slowed down or learned the lesson the system was trying to force on him. The case that originally sent him away goes back to 2020, and it involves serious street activity that put him directly on the federal radar.
Now, in just one station, surveillance cameras showing a new view of a violent shootout in a parking lot of a South Florida apartment building. The barrage of bullets sending 2 people to the hospital, and it lands a rapper in jail. Now, in just
According
one
to court
station,
documents,
surveillance
the main
cameras
case
showing a
centered
new
around
view
a
of a
robbery.
violent
Rhode Island says you're wanted with it. Mr. Williams, you were arrested for pursuant to an arrest.
Pooh Shiesty met up with someone, robbed them, and then shot them during the incident. That wasn't a random mistake. That was part of a larger pattern the feds had already been tracking, and it didn't stop there. There was also another incident where he allegedly fired shots at a club after getting his money taken. During that chaos, a security guard, someone just doing their job, was hit.
Popular rapper arrested. He's accused of shooting a security guard at a South Florida gentleman's club and will remain behind bars. A judge denied bond for 21-year-old Lontrell Williams.
That detail matters because when innocent people get hurt, the system comes down harder every time. Real talk, moving like that doesn't just put you at risk, it puts everyday people in danger too. That's exactly why the federal government built a strong case against him. They stacked multiple incidents together, including armed robbery, assault with a deadly weapon, and conspiracy charges to show a repeated pattern of violent behavior. The prosecutors painted a very clear picture of Pooh Shiesty, and it wasn't a flattering one. They argued he wasn't someone who turned to violence as a last resort. Violence was his first move. In their eyes, he was a danger to the community, someone who hadn't changed, and that's why they pushed hard for the full 20-year sentence they originally wanted. From their perspective, locking him up long-term was the only way to stop the cycle. His defense team fought back heavy. They leaned into his age, his talent, and the idea that he still had time to grow and be rehabilitated. They argued that he wasn't a lost cause, that his music career gave him a real path forward if given the chance. And it worked, kind of. They got the sentence reduced to 8 years, which was still serious time, but way better than 2 decades behind bars. When Pooh Shiesty finally came home, everything was lined up perfectly. His first day out song took off immediately, running up millions of views. He was getting plaques, pulling up in foreign cars, and rumors were flying about him being linked with India Love. From the outside, it looked like the ultimate comeback story. He had the platform, the fan base, and the momentum to build something legitimate and lasting. That first day out track wasn't just music, it was a statement. He was telling the world he was back, focused, and ready to dominate the rap game. For a moment, people really believed he'd learned from his mistakes. It looked like he was about to be one of those rare success stories. The artist who took his second chance and turned it into a real empire. But behind the scenes, the streets were telling a different story. People close to him said he never really let go of that old mindset. Same circle, same energy, same talk. He was moving like nothing had changed, like the system wasn't watching anymore. And that's where things went left. Federal supervised release means everything is under a microscope. Your social media posts, your lyrics, your videos, who you're around, and where you're showing up. When you're on paper, nothing is just entertainment. When you're rapping about weapons and street activity while on supervised release, that's not just art, that's potential evidence. The moment that really shook everyone came when Ben the Don broke the news live on his stream. Mid-broadcast, Ben got a phone call about the raid. You could hear the shock in his voice when he realized how serious it was. He found out they took everything and cleaned the place out. Ben tried to keep it calm, but the streets were already buzzing, and the clip went viral almost instantly. In the call, you could hear Ben saying, "You remember that bet when Buddy had this right here and I told you he going to jail? He's going back. Remember that bet?"
Remember that bet when Buddy had this right here? And I told you, I was like, he going to jail?
Yeah.
He's going back.
That moment hit hard because it felt inevitable. The prosecution painted a clear image of Pooh Shiesty, and it wasn't a good one. They argued he didn't turn to violence as a last option. He went there first. In their eyes, he was a risk to the community and needed to serve the full 20 years they originally pushed for. That was the angle. Lock him up long term and stop the pattern completely. His defense team fought back hard. They leaned into his age, his success as an artist, and the belief that he still had time to change. They argued he could be rehabilitated and that music gave him a real lane out. That strategy worked enough to cut the sentence down to 8 years, which was still heavy time, but way better than losing 2 decades of his life. When Pooh Shiesty came home, it looked like everything was lining up perfectly. His first day out song was doing real numbers. Plaques started coming in, foreign cars were everywhere, and there were even rumors linking him to India Love. From the outside, it looked like the comeback was real. He had momentum, attention, and the opportunity to build a legitimate empire. That song wasn't just music, it was a message. He was telling the world he was back, focused, and ready to take over. For a moment, it really seemed like he might be one of those rare cases. The artist who learned from mistakes and used a second chance the right way. But behind the scenes, the streets were saying something different. People close to him said he never really dropped that street mindset. Same people, same talk, same energy. He was moving like he was untouchable, like the rules didn't apply anymore. And that's where things went left fast. Federal parole doesn't miss anything. Your posts, your lyrics, your videos, who you're around, where you show up, it's all under a microscope. When you're on supervised release, nothing is just entertainment. Rapping about prohibited weapons while you're on paper isn't just expression. It can be treated as evidence. The moment everything really shook the internet was when Ben the Don broke the news live on his stream. Mid-broadcast, Ben got a phone call about the raid. You could hear the shock in his voice when he realized how serious it was. He found out they took everything and cleaned the place out. The clip went viral fast. You can hear Ben saying, "You remember that bet when Buddy had this right here and I told you he going to jail? He's going back. Remember that bet?" The way he said it made it sound like this wasn't a total surprise. Later, Ben tried to clear things up on Twitter, saying the call had nothing to do with Pooh Shiesty. Whether that was deflection or protection, nobody really knows. But by then, the facts were already out. Federal agents don't move randomly. Raids like that take weeks, sometimes months, of planning. They gather evidence, document violations, and strike when everything's lined up. When they went to his spot, they found what they were looking for and took him back into custody immediately. Soon after, blogs confirmed it, and DJ Academics backed it up with federal prison records showing his real name, Lontrell Donald Williams Jr., his register number, and a release date of April 11, 2026. His original release date before early release. That detail matters. This wasn't about new charges, it was about parole violations. When you get released early, you're still serving your sentence, just outside instead of inside. Violate the rules, and you go right back to finish the time. The prosecution never switched their stance on Pooh Shiesty. They painted him as someone who chose violence first, not last. In their eyes, he wasn't reacting to danger, he was creating it. That's why they pushed so hard for the full 20-year sentence, arguing he was a threat to the community and couldn't be trusted on the outside. They wanted him off the streets completely. His defense team went into full damage control mode. They argued he was young, talented, and still capable of change. They leaned heavy on his potential as an artist, saying music gave him a real shot at rehabilitation. That strategy paid off enough to knock the sentence down to 8 years, which was still serious time, but a huge win compared to losing 2 decades of his life. When Pooh Shiesty finally came home, it looked like the universe handed him a gift. His first day out song exploded instantly, pulling millions of views. Plaques started rolling in, foreign cars were everywhere, and rumors even linked him to India Love. From the outside, it looked like the ultimate comeback story. Everything lined up for him to build a clean, legitimate empire. That song wasn't just a track, it was a declaration. He was telling the world he was back, focused, and ready to dominate. For a moment, people believed this was the turning point. The artist who learned from his mistakes, locked in, and used his second chance the right way. But behind the scenes, the streets were saying something else. Folks who knew him said he never really left that old mindset behind. Same circle, same energy, same talk. He moved like he was untouchable, like federal supervision didn't really apply to him, and that's where things started to unravel fast. Federal parole doesn't miss anything. Social media posts, music videos, lyrics, locations, associations, it's all monitored. When you're on supervised release, nothing is just entertainment. Rapping about prohibited weapons while you're still on paper isn't art to them, it's evidence. The moment the internet really woke up was when Ben the Don broke the news live on his stream. Mid-broadcast, Ben got a phone call about the raid. You could hear the shock in his voice when he realized how serious it was. He found out they took everything and cleared the spot out. The clip went viral almost instantly. On the call, Ben said, "You remember that bet when Buddy had this right here and I told you he going to jail? He's going back." The way he said it made one thing clear: this wasn't completely unexpected. Later, Ben tried to clean it up on Twitter, claiming the call had nothing to do with Pooh Shiesty. Whether that was deflection or protection, nobody knows, but by then the facts were already public. Federal raids don't happen randomly. They take weeks, sometimes months of preparation. Evidence gets stacked, violations get documented, and once they've got enough, they move. When they hit his spot, they found what they needed and took him back into custody immediately. Soon after, DJ Academics confirmed it using federal prison records, showing his real name, Lontrell Donald Williams Jr., his register number, and a release date of April 11th, 2026. That date matters. It's his original release date before early parole. This wasn't new charges. It was a parole violation. When you get released early, you're still serving your sentence, just in the community instead of behind bars. Break the rules and you go right back to finish the time. Instead of running up the bag and building his legacy, he's about to spend those years behind bars, watching other artists slide right into the spot that was meant for him. That's the harsh part nobody wants to talk about. Time doesn't pause in hip-hop. While you're locked up, the game keeps moving, trends change, and fans move on fast. Halfway houses are supposed to help people transition back into real life, but let's be honest, they're far from perfect. Most of them are overcrowded, understaffed, and dropped right in environments that make it nearly impossible to escape the same influences that caused the problems in the first place. You're told to stay focused, but everything around you is pulling you back into old habits. For someone like Pooh Shiesty, famous, visible, and with money, the halfway house setup might have actually worked against him. That environment doesn't always offer real structure or guidance, especially for someone used to moving freely and being surrounded by yes men. The system expects discipline without really providing the tools to build it. And here's the uncomfortable truth: the parole system is more punitive than rehabilitative. Instead of helping people succeed, it often sets traps with strict rules that are easy to break and consequences that hit hard. One mistake, one curfew slip, one bad association can send you right back to prison even if you didn't commit a new crime. That said, the rules aren't random. Federal supervision exists to protect the community while giving people a chance to prove they've changed. When someone violates those rules repeatedly, especially someone with a violent past, the system is going to respond every single time. That's just reality, no matter how talented or famous you are. So now the timeline is clear. Pooh Shiesty is scheduled to be released on April 11th, 2026, assuming nothing else pops off while he's inside. That gives him roughly 15 months to sit with his choices, reflect, and hopefully come up with a smarter plan for when he touches back down. But here's the challenge. The hip-hop landscape won't be the same when he comes home. New artists will have taken over playlists. Sounds will shift. Fans will latch onto new faces. The momentum he once had will be gone, and rebuilding it won't be easy. Starting over is hard enough when you're young and unknown. It's even tougher when you're older and carrying the weight of multiple arrests. Sure, his legal team might try to appeal the violation or push for early release again, but that road is way steeper this time. The system already gave him grace once, and second chances don't come unlimited. Judges don't like seeing second chances wasted, and prosecutors are already lining up that argument. From their point of view, Pooh Shiesty proved he couldn't be trusted in the community, and that's the worst label you can get once you're on federal supervision. Right now, the smartest move he can make is to lock in and use this time wisely. That means writing music, reading books, taking classes, earning certifications, anything that shows real growth, not just talk. When he comes home again, he's going to need proof he's changed, not just words in an interview. The real question everyone's asking is simple but heavy. What happens in April 2026? Does he come home sharper, wiser, and more disciplined? Or do we end up having the same conversation all over again? The hip-hop world is watching closely, and so are other artists in similar situations. This story isn't just about Pooh Shiesty. It's about second chances, bad environments, and how hard it really is to change when everything around you stays the same. For young people watching from the sidelines, the lesson couldn't be clearer. When you get an opportunity to change your life, you have to take it seriously. Pride, peer pressure, and image can't matter more than your freedom. Success means nothing if you're not free to enjoy it. A chain, a car, or a viral moment isn't worth years behind bars. For artists dealing with parole or probation, this should be a loud wake-up call. Federal supervision is not a game. The rules might feel strict, unfair, or limiting, but breaking them will cost you everything you worked for. Pooh Shiesty could have avoided all of this by focusing on music, staying inside curfew, and following a few basic conditions. Instead, he moved like the feds weren't watching, and now he's back where he started, serving out the rest of his original sentence. The saddest part is this: he had everything lined up to win. Talent, money, resources, industry support, and people who believed in him. But none of that matters if you can't make the right decisions when it counts the most. Opportunity doesn't protect you from consequences. Discipline does. Now the conversation turns to you. What do you think happens next for Pooh Shiesty? Does he come home in 2026 with a new mindset and a new plan? Or is this just another chapter in a longer cycle that keeps repeating? Let it be known in the comments and share your take. Make sure you subscribe for more real breakdowns like this and updates on stories shaping hip-hop culture. This isn't just content, it's real life. If you're on parole or probation right now, understand this: your freedom is a privilege, not a guarantee. Don't fumble the bag over street credibility that isn't worth the years you'll never get back.